Welcome to Rays of Hope, where inspiration meets possibilities. Are you always striving for flawlessness and feeling stressed out when things don't go perfectly? Many people struggle with perfectionism, and it's not just about aiming high. Perfectionistic thoughts can wreak havoc on your mental health, leading to anxiety, depression, and burnout. Recognizing these thought patterns is crucial for keeping them under control. In this video, we'll explore common perfectionistic thoughts and how they impact your life. You'll learn practical tips to identify and manage these patterns, helping you achieve a healthier mindset. Understanding these patterns is the first step toward finding balance and reducing the pressure on yourself. Let's dive into how you can start making these changes today. Understanding perfectionism. We all want to do our best, but sometimes the quest to be perfect can take over our lives. Understanding perfectionism helps us see how it affects our thoughts and behaviors. Let's break down what perfectionism is and how it can be both healthy and unhealthy. What is perfectionism? Perfectionism is the constant drive to meet incredibly high standards. It's more than just wanting to do well, it's the feeling that anything less than perfect is unacceptable. Perfectionists often focus on flaws and mistakes. Set impossibly high goals. Feel anxious or stressed over small errors. Imagine trying to balance on a high wire. A perfectionist feels like they must cross without a single wobble or risk falling. Healthy versus unhealthy perfectionism. Not all perfectionism is the same. There are two types, healthy and unhealthy perfectionism. Healthy perfectionism. Healthy perfectionism can be a good thing. It involves setting high standards but still being kind to yourself if you fall short. Here are some characteristics. Motivational. It pushes you to try your best. Flexible goals. You can adjust your goals if needed. Self-compassion. Recognizing that mistakes are part of learning. Think of a healthy perfectionist as a coach. They encourage you to do your best but also understand that setbacks happen and that's okay. Unhealthy perfectionism. Unhealthy perfectionism, on the other hand, can be harmful. It's like having an overly critical judge always watching your every move. Here are some characteristics. Fear of failure. You're terrified of making mistakes. All or nothing thinking. If it's not perfect, it's a failure. Self-criticism. Constantly putting yourself down. In this case, a small mistake feels like a disaster, causing stress and anxiety. It's important to recognize these patterns to manage them effectively. Understanding the difference between healthy and unhealthy perfectionism is key to maintaining a balanced life. Recognize where you might be too hard on yourself and try to treat yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend. Common perfectionistic thought patterns. Perfectionistic thoughts can sneak into your mind and make life harder. Recognizing these thought patterns can help you understand why you feel stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed. Let's look at some common ones and how they can affect you. All or nothing thinking. All or nothing thinking is when you see things in black and white. There's no middle ground. If something isn't perfect, you see it as a complete failure. Examples: if I don't get an A, I'm a failure. Either I do it perfectly, or it's worthless. This kind of thinking can make you feel like you're constantly falling short, leading to frustration and stress. Overgeneralization. Overgeneralization is taking one negative event and believing it represents everything. It's like taking a single piece of a puzzle and deciding the whole puzzle is ruined. Examples: I made a mistake in my presentation, so I'm terrible at public speaking. I failed this test, so I'm bad at all subjects. This mindset can knock your confidence and make you avoid new challenges. Catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is when you imagine the worst possible outcome, even if it's unlikely. It's like turning a molehill into a mountain. Examples: if I mess up this project, I'll get fired and never find another job. If I don't get into my first choice college, my life is over. Catastrophizing can make your daily worries feel like huge disasters, increasing your anxiety. Personalization. Personalization means blaming yourself for things that aren't your fault. You take responsibility for everything, even when it's out of your control. Examples: the team failed the project because I didn't do enough. My friend's upset because of something I said. This thought pattern can make you feel guilty and overwhelmed. Should statements. Should statements involve using should to set strict rules for yourself. It's like creating invisible barriers that you must meet, or else. Examples: I should always be happy and positive. I should never fail at anything. These statements can lead to a constant sense of disappointment when you don't meet your unrealistically high expectations. Discounting the positives. Discounting the positives happens when you ignore or downplay your achievements and good qualities. It's like looking at yourself through a negative filter. Examples: I did well, but it was just luck. Anyone could have done that. It's not a big deal. This can make it hard to feel proud of yourself, even when you succeed. Recognizing these perfectionistic thought patterns can help you start changing them. It's about being aware of how you think and understanding that these thoughts aren't true reflections of reality. The impact of perfectionistic thought patterns. Perfectionism can be like a double-edged sword. On one side, it drives you to do your best. But on the other, it can hurt your mental health and daily life. In this section, we'll explore how these thought patterns affect your mind, productivity, and relationships. Mental health consequences. Perfectionistic thought patterns can have a big impact on your mental health. They often lead to anxiety. Constantly aiming for flawless results can cause extreme worry. You might fear making mistakes or falling short of your own high standards. Depression. When you feel you can't meet impossible goals, it leads to feelings of worthlessness and sadness. Over time, this can develop into clinical depression. Stress. Perfectionism often means taking on too much. The pressure to be perfect all the time creates high levels of stress, which can wear you down mentally and physically. Imagine trying to carry a heavy backpack with no brakes. Sooner or later, your body starts to ache. The same happens with your mind when perfectionism weighs it down. Impact on productivity and relationships. Perfectionism doesn't just affect your mental health, it can also hit your productivity and relationships hard. Hindered productivity. You might think perfectionism makes you more productive, but it often does the opposite. Here's how. Procrastination. Fear of not achieving perfection can lead to putting off tasks. You wait for the perfect moment, which never comes. Overworking. Perfectionists often spend too much time on a single task, trying to make it perfect. This leads to burnout. Missed deadlines. The endless tweaking and refining can result in missing deadlines, causing work to pile up. Instead of moving forward, perfectionists often find themselves stuck in one place, much like spinning wheels in the mud. Strained relationships. Perfectionistic thought patterns can also damage your personal and professional relationships. High expectations. You might expect others to meet your high standards, leading to disappointment and frustration on both sides. Lack of trust. If you believe only you can do things right, you may struggle to delegate tasks, creating tension with team members or family. Poor communication. Fear of criticism can make you less open about your struggles and needs, leading to misunderstandings. Think of relationships as plants that need care and attention. Perfectionism is like overwatering them. It might come from a place of care, but it ultimately does more harm than good. Understanding how perfectionistic thought patterns impact these areas of your life is crucial. By recognizing these effects, you can start to make changes that lead to a more balanced and healthy mindset. Stay tuned for Part 2, where we'll delve deeper into practical strategies to recognize and manage perfectionistic tendencies. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for more videos that spark hope and empowerment.